Good evening, Californios. It's March 22nd, 2022, and this is podcast number 8. We are Red Star Report. I'm Hal G. Llyr, and this is Voices for the California Nation. Tonight, we at Red Star Report present for your consideration part 2 of our interview with Llyr Williams from the Welsh Independence Party, Plaid Cymru. A discussion about the history and challenges facing the people of Wales and their efforts towards independence, where we can see more than a few parallels with the California Independence Movement. But I guess there's no surprise that good people seeking self-determination could share similar experiences and goals. So with that in mind, Red Star Rebels, Red Star Report presents our second segment of Independence International, a global discussion of evolving nations.
Here, I don't know if you heard of the California National Party, led by Michael Loebs. They've actually put out on their platform. That's the Independent Party for California. A platform on what we would like to see California look like. And universal basic income seems to be the one that you got to realize now. In the California Independence Movement, there is conservatives and leftists all agree that we may disagree on some social issues, but we all know that California will be better on its own. And on one of these issues is universal basic income, because it eliminates that need for, not a need for a job, but yeah, a need for a job to eat. A need for the only reason I'm going to work is so I don't go hungry and I stay warm. I mean, that kind of reasoning to live life is what's happening. We see the results of that right now, and so we have the same outlook over here. I wonder if you guys even thought about universal basic income or gone in that direction, because that would, if Wales is right, that might be a game changer for you guys. And it's only 3 million people, man. I mean, I think LA's got 9 million people in our city here. We'd love universal basic income and we'll bring something similar to it. But what do you think about universal basic? I think it would work great in Wales. I'm not sure if you heard of it or not.
I am very much in favour of universal basic income. We've got a wonderful organisation in Wales called UBI Lab, Universal Basic Income Lab, who has looked into this policy at a Welsh level. Universal basic income ideas and policy ideas have been debated in the Welsh Parliament as recently as before Christmas. There is a trial happening in Wales of it. So young adults who will be leaving care will be given a form of a universal basic income. They've not called it that as such. So they'll be given a monthly payment of, it's around £1,600. I don't have the conversion off the top of my head. To give them, after coming out of care, children who've been into care have faced specific challenges joining the workforce, searching for jobs. So it gives them that security. It gives them that covering the bills, getting them on their feet. So it'll be awesome. It's a trial to begin with, and it's a trial with one part of the population who really needs that benefit. But I believe, as you just said, and my political party, Plaid Cymru, is advocating for it, a universal basic income to support the entire population, especially now with the cost of living crisis that is. And
absolutely, yeah, that's good that you're doing it with your young adults getting out of high school. Here, the very first experiment in a place called Stockton, California, it was tried because they were trying to reduce the crime rate. Actually, right? Like, hey, don't steal. Here's $50 a week if you don't steal, and it worked. And so they just escalated that even more, and the crime rate just has plummeted in Stockton. They've spread it down to a few cities in other cities in California, just going off the Stockton model. It's going to work. I mean, if you just have faith in your fellow man, that they're not lazy, that they're not wanting to get the most for doing nothing at all. People want to be productive, and they want to love being productive, but forcing them to be productive to survive is why we're in this predicament, I believe. So I'm glad to hear that Wales is trying the experiments, man. It's going to be successful. I watch. It will be.
I hope it is, and I hope that I'm glad that the initial trial is going to a section of the population who really would benefit from this security to get onto their feet. It's no child's fault for having to be put into care, and it's but there's 1 in 3 children in Wales live in poverty, so
wow.
universal basic income will stop.
1 in 3?
1 in 3. 1 in 3 children in Wales are raised in poverty.
Oh my God!
And I don't remember the figure of families below the poverty line, but it's quite high for what is supposed to be the 5th largest economy in the world. So it's a universal basic income will remove this necessity to work to survive. The cost of living crisis, which is looming, the energy bills, which are going to go up 5-fold come the month of April, which, along with specific in-work benefits being cut back by the UK government, the Welsh government has no powers over that. A universal basic income would remove a lot of the challenges that hardworking Welsh families have got to face in the coming months. Do I heat my house or do I eat? And these are the policies that we want to put forward in Wales to benefit the population and to bring in new ideas, bring in fresh ideas like universal basic income to address specific challenges. And it seems like a massive expense at first, but you will see the benefits of it. Is families who right now are working to survive, families that mostly spend their money in the local economy. And it's specific sectors like agriculture, which is a huge part, more than 50% of the economy where I live, and agricultural services, and the economy is built on that. They spend their money locally, they spend their money with local companies. Yeah. So you build pockets of economic growth from that, which in turn removes the levels of deprivation that you see, removes the levels of crime that comes with it, removes the level of specific social issues that come with it. And they build then this new economy based on, the wealth and worth of people rather than what it is now.
I'm sorry. It's such a simple concept. It befuddles me. I just don't understand why the opposition refuses to accept that. Actually, I do understand. I know it. I'm not going to get into it. It's another topic for another day. But I'm glad that you feel that way and that Wales is actually trying it. That's a hugely. Finland, I heard, they're already. It's kind of paradise over there. I heard the new vacation spot, Finland. But Hal, do you have any more questions for Llyr here?
Yeah. In a post-COVID-19 world and a post-Boris Johnson conservative government world, where do you see Plaid Cymru and the Welsh Independence Movement going forward from here?
That's a very good question, and it depends on what steps are taken in the next few months and how the Welsh Independence Movement, both in political parties such as my political party, Plaid Cymru, and both in civil society organisations like Yes Cymru, which I'll cover in a minute, react to that. So initially we need to look at how we frame independence moving forward. And it's very easy to start basing your entire support for independence on opposing what's going on at UK level. It's very easy to oppose what's going on at UK level. There's a lot of politics, policies, key messages, key discourse at a UK level, which most people in Wales, I can say confidently, it does not resonate with. Most people in Wales do not resonate with the key messages of the UK government at all. This levelling up, which they use constantly, it means nothing in Wales. You can't speak about, we're levelling up or connecting the railways when we have something like 6% of the network, 1% of the fund for railways. Still, that's not levelling up. I'm sorry. So it faces some, not threats, it faces some challenges, I think, from the pro-home rule, pro-autonomy camp, where the Welsh Labour Party on the left wing, they're the Welsh kind of branch office of the UK Labour Party. In Wales, they've always had this pro-home rule, this nationalist current through. So if you're in Plaid Cymru, the pro-Welsh Independence Party, we say they firmly place the tanks on our lawn. Because they do put a Welsh flag in everything. They do shout about the injustices that we face. They do wave the flag. They do, do all of this. But we need to build an independence movement based on building a new state, building a new society, using the resources and the workforce that we have here to better the lives of people. We have a line in Plaid Cymru, which is, the powers that affect, the decisions that affect people in Wales are better made by people in Wales. And that's not an anti-England thing. That is moving power as close as possible to the people to grow an economy, to grow a society, to grow industries and business from there. And the civic society organisations, so the non-political, the cross-party organisations, which have popped up in numerous ways in Wales over the last kind of 5, 6, 7, 8 years, many of them inspired by Yes Scotland. So Yes Scotland inspired. It was Cymru Says Yes or something like that. I'm going to be crucified for not getting the name of that right, but it was kind of Wales Says Yes, Wales Stands with Scotland, and then that turned into Yes Cymru. So it was a cross-party movement advocating for independence, trying to get the idea of independence to reach people who usually stay out of kind of the debate on it, to kind of make it more palatable for people who see it as a bit of a threat. And Yes Cymru, as a civic society organisation, faces quite a lot of challenges, in my opinion anyway. And that is, does your support for independence go down waving flags and saying it's impossible to look at Westminster and not want independence? We do say that one of the greatest recruiting agents for Scottish independence, for Welsh independence, for Irish reunification is Boris Johnson. I mean, the man is a clown. And if you elect a clown, you then suffer the circus. Elect a clown, expect a circus, and boy, are we seeing a circus. So does the civic society movements go down that road of saying, oh, look at them, aren't they terrible, we can do something better here? Or do they go down the road of telling people the why? Why, you can say independence, but most people like the status quo. So there are people who are very comfortable in the lives they're living at the moment, and why would they want to rock the boat? And the reason why they want to rock the boat is that you need to prove to them that there's benefits to the status quo people. And I believe, I listened to a talk about it, maybe Angus and different people from Scotland disagree with me. I remember somebody, they used to be in the Scottish government towards in the period leading up to the independence referendum. And they said that it was the people who were in the status quo were the people who kind of tipped it to a no vote in Scotland in 2014. So they're the people you need to target with your messages, as well as everybody else. You can't forget the people that are comfortable, as well as the people who are crying out for change. So do they go down the route of waving flags and saying, you yes yet, and saying, oh, look how terrible Westminster is? Or do they do that and say the why? Why do we want to build a Welsh nation state? Is it because You know, we've been this country that's been downtrodden for years, partly, but it's also to be able to build something different. And they, in my opinion, need to use what's happening on the political side of things. This, as we mentioned earlier, the universal basic income trial, the smacking ban in children is quite an advanced policy here, which bans physical punishment of children by parents. Some people would say it's, encroaching on people's liberty. Other people would say it's a very sensible policy. There's a lot of other policies being worked on in the Welsh Government, free school meals for children of a certain age. As I said earlier, 1 in 3 children live in poverty. Free school meals for children takes away one extra expense from the parents. Specific support to pay for energy bills. Wales is something like the 5th largest exporter of electricity, but we don't see the benefit from that. So the civic society needs to look at what's happening on the political side, and then needs to answer the why by showing what can be done. So it needs to become quite political, maybe not party political, but it needs to become quite political. So that was quite a long-winded answer. I hope it answered some of your question.
Man, you're so that general attitude, the way that you're going, I'm not one to say that it's going to work. It's not going to work. It's you guys would know it better than us. I'm going to say from a Californian perspective, this is our main goal, the movement's main goal. I feel is convincing Californians that they're Californians and not Americans. If you can just do that, just people identify themselves as Californians first. All of this other political, economical, because you can tell a person, oh, look how much better we are economically. But you're talking to people that have grown up conditioned in the morning to say they give their heart's pledge to the flag and to just very indoctrinated people who are in fear if the United States isn't protecting them. These other things always come into their minds, regardless of its economy or if you're going to be better off financially. There's other aspects that will come to mind. But if you can convince them that you're a Californian first, or you're Welsh first before United Kingdom, I'm not saying that for you guys. For us over here at least. That's half the battle. That's more than half the battle right there. You've won. I feel, and it's quite a task to convince somebody that simple little thing to self-identify as a Californian. It's you'll be amazed how many people.
I think here we have the points I made earlier about building the why come from a kind of a position of privilege as a nation, because we have national sports.
We have
kind of this national identity which has always been there. So a lot of people will say they're Welsh and British, This identity, where in other kind of independence movements in other areas in California, and you look at the French state, for example. In the French state, it's a very highly centralized power where the state does everything, and that's why you have kind of relatively low membership of political parties and trade union stuff, because it's the state that provides, and people have the flag everywhere, and the mayors wear the flag, and you sing La Marseillaise and everything. And the UK government's trying to replicate that here. It doesn't work. I mean, they're putting the union flag on our driving licenses. They want schools to fly the union flag. They want all of this. They want all of this to come in and replicate. As you say with America, with children to pledge for this, they had a song which they wanted schools to sing about one Britain, strong nation, and they put it in schools with high levels of ethnic minority children, which is a really cynical way of looking at things. They didn't even want to push it into Welsh and Scottish schools. They wanted to start with the mega diverse areas first, the most diverse areas first, and push it down that way. And it's quite sinister that. So, there's independence movements, you have these different battles.
Oh, absolutely, man. I was just saying that was for us. That I found that to be the biggest obstacle, man. Because here you've got people like, how would you like it, man, if you saw, I don't know if it's like this over there, is the Jack flag over the Welsh flag in buildings? Because that pisses me off over here. In fact, we went on a mission, me and some other individuals, I'm not going to mention, every time we saw a flag, American flag hoisted above the we took that thing down, and this is the middle of the night. turned it around, hoisted it back up, and went back and put the California flag on top, because it's insulting to see that. I don't know if you guys do practice that or not with your flag.
What's lovely in Wales sometimes is the bureaucracy gets in the way of things. So the UK government acquired quite a large office building in the middle of Cardiff, and they wanted to use the windows to put in what would probably be the largest Union flag in Wales.
Wow.
But the planning authority said no, so they had to listen to the planning authority, which they probably answered a lot of public pressure. But even people who identify as Welsh and British didn't like that massive display of muscular unionism. Right. And there are instances where sometimes the Welsh flag is lower than the British flag and there's complaints, but I think we benefit a lot from outside a lot of public buildings. There's kind of this, there has to be this equality, and when it's not there, it's called out. But in a lot of other countries, a lot of other territories, it's horrible to see, why one flag has to be twice the size of the other. And at the end of the day, that it's
Is there anything else you want to add, Llyr? Anything you want to see, maybe? Anything hoping to see or would like to see in the world?
One aspect which I think needs to be discussed is the Welsh relationship with the monarchy. I think the monarchy is this international, world-renowned sign of the United Kingdom, the Queen, the late Duke of Edinburgh, the Prince of Wales. And there is this tendency sometimes to wrongly call Wales a principality. A principality needs a prince as a head of state. The Prince of Wales is not the head of state in Wales, so it's not a principality. And even in the independence movement, and if you ask a Scottish person, they're far more, I'd say on the whole, pro-monarchy than we are in Wales. Not to suggest that they have more of a British identity. I think people here have an identity with the monarchy a little bit separate to that of their national identity, the identity that makes them Welsh or British or Welsh and British or just British, or so there's aspects of the pro-independence movement which are fiercely Republican. I am one of those. I make no I'm not very quiet about my republicanism. I believe that monarchies are incompatible with democracies. That may be a controversial statement, but that's my personal beliefs. I don't want anything to happen to the monarchy. I just think that they should be elected, should they want to. And when Donald Trump was in power in America, a lot of people were saying that's what's happening when you get elected head of state. And now seeing the scandals going through the monarchy in the UK at the moment, you say, aha, but they chucked him out. What can we do with these? So we're stuck with this kind of family at the top suffering scandal after scandal after scandal. And it's very interesting to discuss, in the event of an independent Wales, what is the independence movement saying about the monarchy? Because we're often painted as this overtly Republican, and people like myself who are quite strongly Republican kind of push to the fore and say, well, this person hates the Queen. And I don't hate her personally. She's another human being on this earth. I've got nothing, against her. I just believe that she should be elected to the position. I think she'd win if she put herself forward for election, because there's a lot of affinity towards her. There's a lot of people have lived most of their lives with her in the post-war period, through the troublesome period of the 70s and 80s, and through the last 2 years, a lot of people through the COVID-19 crisis found great comfort in the Queen, with all her wealth behind her, telling everybody how difficult it is for everybody, and a lot of people found great comfort in that. So the independence movement, as it stands at the moment, would retain the monarchy post-independence, as many countries like Canada have done, like Australia, which is very interesting, I think, because this most British of institutions. And when you look at building a Welsh state of your own, you would retain that most British of institutions as your head of state.
Well,
but I'll take my Republican hat off for a minute, and I'll say that hasn't encroached on Canada's nationhood. It hasn't encroached on the nationhood of some other countries. There are a lot of different territories that have voted to chuck the monarchy over the years. More recently, Barbados has become a republic. But it is this interesting aspect of the pro-Welsh independence movement where you have not a divide as such. I think the majority of activists on the ground would increasingly like to see a different form of kind of head of state that isn't a monarchy. And I think that will change, not wanting it to happen, obviously, but as the Queen, she's in an advancing age, looking forward to what King Charles would be, Prince Charles now. Not hoping any of this would, happen soon or anything like that, because they are human beings at the end of the day. I think more people would be in favour of a republic as kind of the years advance, as the monarchy develops, because they've embroiled themselves in scandal recently, and that support is quite fragile, I believe.
I have a question about the so the Prince Charles is from Wales, then, right? Is that why he's no? They just made him oh man, that is messed up.
It's the title given to the firstborn son of the Queen. So he is the Prince of Wales, and he's the Duke of Angus. Is going to be very angry with me with the pronunciation. I think it's the Duke of Rothesay or something like that in Scotland.
So what about his sons? The prince's sons? What are they? Are they the
Prince William is the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, so he will become Prince of Wales when his father becomes king, and then Harry and Meghan have been, well, not excommunicated, but
if Harry was still in the royal family, where would he be?
He'd be
California now. Let's get that straight.
Yeah.
But
the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, I believe. For a Republican, this is far too much knowledge of the royal family, but I've seen a lot of them in the media. So the Prince of Wales is a title usually given to the next in line of the throne. It doesn't mean that they come from Wales at all. I mean, the Prince of Wales, has been involved in a lot of things that I think Welsh people are quite angry with. If you're a Welsh speaker, what happened with an area called Epynt, where kind of on land owned by the Prince of Wales, a military base was set up, and the line between Welsh-speaking Wales and quite low levels of Welsh-speaking was pushed that far west, and communities are evicted once more. And I think a lot of people, especially in the Welsh-speaking elements of the Welsh national movement, where I find myself, feel a genuine kind of anger towards that. And when it was there's a bridge which connects the southeast of Wales to the west of England called the Severn Bridge, because it went over the River Severn. A Welsh politician, not in government in Wales, he was a Conservative, he was kind of the UK government's representative in Wales, decided to change the name of the bridge to the Prince of Wales Bridge. And even in people who liked the monarchy, there was this overwhelming rejection amongst Welsh people of this name being forced upon us, because a lot of people don't, if you tell me the Prince of Wales, I just think of a pub. I've drunk in many pubs called the Prince of Wales. He's no prince of my country. He's not from my country.
You should name the wastewater treatment facility after them. That would really
the Prince of Wales.
Man, thank you so much for this interview, my friend. Next time I'm coming to England, I'm gonna give you and Angus a call. I mean, United Kingdom, give you and Angus a call, and I want to get the tour, my man. Thank you again for doing this interview.
No, thank you to you, and it's great to hear about the California Independence Movement. I spoke with somebody from the California National Party pre-COVID via email, and it's great that there's kind of podcasts and new media to promote this and kind of show solidarity across nations, across different independence movements, and sharing ideas as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the goal, to get everybody in solidarity is the key phrase. All right, that's all we've got. Llyr, thank you very much once again for joining us across the pond. We're going to go back to Activism in Action and go get into some protests, go get into some messes right now and see what happens out there, And Hal and I will be back again on the next episode. Thanks again.
And that was part 2 of our interview with Llyr Williams from the Welsh Independence Movement. For more information on Welsh independence, go to www.partyofwales. That's www.partyofwales. More information will be available down in the comments section. For our final segment, let's have Shankar Singham take us out tonight with a report on California's activist candidates and a local protest at California Assembly member Christina Garcia's office on this week's installment of Activism in Action. Shankar, you are go for launch.
Folks, this is California. Thank you, Hal. Welcome to another episode of Activism in Action. Welcome, race fans. That's right, folks. The activists are taking to campaigning. So we've got a couple of great people running for public office here in Southern California. And we're actually holding some of our former candidates that we support feet to the fire right now. Who am I talking about? Christina Garcia. Now, she was a badass. We all supported her here in SoCal. She brought down the corruption in the city of Bell. Unfortunately, she's got two major scandals plaguing her, and she will not answer to us on what is going on and why is she doing the things she's doing. First one, Exide Chemical, has polluted the ground from Long Beach all the way up to Maywood, I believe. Parts per million, the air is polluted. Parts per million on the ground, done. You cannot grow any sort of plant life in the ground anywhere near in Long Beach to Maywood. She has let that company go. That company ran with its tails in between its legs back to the East Coast, and she let them go scot-free. And here we are holding the bag for I don't know how many thousands and thousands of acres and miles of polluted ground, which goes into the aquifer and into the water, which brings me to the second scandal of Christina Garcia. We get our water here from a commission, and that commission controls the water basin, the water that's coming from a basin up north. Okay, she has disbanded the commission, put private company people into that position, and essentially she's trying to privatize our water, our cheap water that we get for very good quality, cheap. She wants to privatize it. And she won't answer for that either. She's putting all the players in place to make that happen. I'm not going to speculate on who I think it is, on which company, and on which corporations I think are involved. Say that until we're absolutely sure. So Christina Garcia has these two scandals. She won't answer for them, and she knows us activists are going to be on her back. So she's avoiding us at every turn. Yesterday, a bunch of activists went over to her office. You had Maria Estrada, who coincidentally held Christina Garcia's feet to the fire, but also is running for the 63rd district, challenging Anthony Rendon. If you guys remember who Anthony Rendon is, he is the Speaker of the Assembly. He is also the 63rd district representative, and he also shut down universal health care about 3 years ago when he went to vote. So this is the guy that won't do anything about the pollution in the ground, about people getting sick, about the kids getting cancer. He won't do anything about that, but shut down universal health care, right? Anthony Rendon. So Maria's going after Anthony Rendon, okay? Campaigning for him. You also had Julio Cesar, who's running after Christina's position. Because Christina, we're going to hold your feet to the fire. And if you're not going to be open and transparent, then we're going to take your place. So Julio Cesar is running for the 58th district. Thank you, Julio. And then, of course, you have Carlos Ovalle. There's an interview that we did with him. I don't want to say too much about him. He's running out of Long Beach City Council. He wants to take, he's trying to take out this guy named Morongo, who's a career Democrat. All of these people are career Democrats, except for Christina Garcia. All of these people are career Democrats, but all of our activists that are running aren't running as Democrats. They've seen how shady the Democratic Party is. They do not represent us. They don't represent our values. They don't represent anything of sacred importance, or even our health concerns is irrelevant to these people. And all they care about is what's happening 3,000 miles away. Now, none of these people are for California independence. They've heard of it, but they're not sure about it yet. But they're already acting as if they are. They're already running as independent candidates, Green Party candidates, anything but Democrats, except for Maria. She's running as a Democrat. But she hates him. They hate her. In fact, I want to say most of these people are banned from any Democratic Party event. So you've got 3 people running for political office right here in LA County and holding politicians' feet to the fire. So we've got an exciting. Oh, also don't forget, we got Mayor Gruenfeld, our 21-year-old mayor who is for California independence. He's running for the city of Los Angeles mayor. He's got a lot of contenders to deal with, but good for him. The activists are taking to the races, folks, and campaigning. Stay tuned. We're going to have a lot more happening this summer as the races heated up. Okay, that's all I got for you. Hal, back to you, man.
Thank you, Shankar. Red Star Report would like to announce that interviews with these California candidates and more will be coming just as fast as we can prepare them for you. Keep watching for times and release dates. Well, that's Red Star Report for the week of 3/22/22. We invite you to check out our website at www.redstarreport.com. Subscribe to our Red Star Report YouTube channel. You know, that place where you're watching this video. Go to our Red Star Report Facebook page, Twitter, go find our Instagram, and give us a like and follow. Because, really, wow. I mean, have you seen the people out there aping Red Star Report and pretending to represent you as the Cal Exit Media Group? Just no. Really. I mean, seriously. If you want the real California Independence Movement Media Group, it's all about the algorithms, and it's all right here. So please, hit that bell and subscribe. And as always, our thanks to you, our Red Star Rebels, for watching. We are Red Star Report.